I know this was 3 weeks ago. I feel like it's pretty relevant. Yeah. I don't know what it's about, except I'm guessing just about VTubers. We're gonna get into
VTubing
it.
is ruined.
Okay.
What happened to
Oh,
VTubers?
okay.
Why is VTubing so negative now? It's a sincere question that you might have asked, especially if you came into the industry back in its early establishment. And it's a question laced with negativity, usually. If you've been around since like 2020, 2019, you might have a fond memory of what it represented. It was a time when it was magical, it was fresh.
Yeah, real magical. I could see that. Yeah, it looks like a real magical time, man. I
Everything
will say the VTuber models do look old, like they don't look as fully. Now it looks like a full-on fucking anime character. I'm not gonna lie, but back in the day, god damn.
was glittering with inspiration and creativity. You felt emotions you've never felt before, a space to enjoy and escape from the real world that was breathing down your neck. But now? Well, it just seems like many places are on fire, and it's hard to ignore the screaming in the background, and it's usually the same cycle. First comes venting, then callouts, then vague posting, then politics, high school level drama, every single week. It's gotten to a
Really?
point that I'm getting tired of it. Me, a fucking slop-eating, slop-making retard. We have VTubers
Damn.
themselves reminiscing about the good times, pondering what happened. Somewhere in 2020 and 2026, a poison was dropped in the well. Something that cascaded the industry into this messy dumpster fire that, despite its many ups and downs, many people still call home. So, what happened? But before we continue, may I interest you in other videos not meant for the peasants to see? In that case, I'd recommend you join my channel memberships or my Patreon. We have monthly exclusive bangers in there as well as uncensored versions of certain content, all ad-free. And besides, you help me keep creating bangers like these in the long term with your support. So if you have some spare change for a cup of coffee every month or something, consider giving it to me instead. Anyway, that's all. Thank you, and let's go back to the video. Let's make things clear first. Since 2020, where a lot of traditional fans became fans, the scene has always been plagued with a lot of negativity and drama and tribalistic behavior, especially from Hololive fans and Nijisanji fans. During those days, stuff happened, like Yozo Ramel harassed in the workspace, Mano Aloe's graduation exploding in Hololive's
Oh my god. Okay.
face, Capcom intentionally targeting Hololive for not getting proper permissions for their games, Hololive fans being skeptical of English, the
Jesus.
Keryo Coco Taiwan incident, Hololive China being dissolved and the political shenanigans that came from that, Mori Calliope's leak.
So Hololive did not have a good year in 2022, huh? It's fucked up.
Incident, Mori Calliope's Connor incident, Mori Calliope being baited by the trolls incident, Mori Calliope's
Whoa! Whoa!
Connor
Whoa!
incident,
Whoa! What
Mori
the hell is
Calliope
that?
being baited.
What is this? I like the competition, and the purple on the chest is an interesting artistic touch. I'm also a big fan of the dead beats expression as well. There's a good deal of complex emotions you've portrayed very well here, and I'm all for it. You've got a good thing going. Good work. Did she get rage baited? I don't think she was being a good sport. Maybe she was being sarcastic. I'm a little autistic. I don't know.
By the trolls incident, Mori Calliope's Gura incident. There was a lot of Mori Calliope drama. Heck, even outside Hololive, we had the voice replacement incident of Kizuna Ai, the King Yuzaka Meru versus Yuzuki Rua civil war, Project Melody's VTuber model getting copyright struck by the modeler. I could name a lot more, but most of the drama I'm gonna wager you haven't really heard of, especially the smaller ones. Or you might even think that it wasn't that big of a deal. But even despite all this negativity, there was a massive upside.
Sorry.
People chose not to focus on the drama too much and the negativity, including myself. Because VTubing was so magical, it incited a lot of very deep and positive emotions. It inspired so much creativity and will that the fact that there were a lot of
Yeah, man, I mean, I feel like VTubing, like, honestly, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm lazy. I didn't feel like getting my hair ready every day. I didn't feel like, just looking my best, like I could be sitting here in my drawers. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. But I really like VTubing because it's more about what you do instead of like what you look like. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, there's big streamers and stuff like that that aren't, necessarily super like attractive or anything, but I think personally for me, I like it because I can just do what I want to do. I can say what I want to say, and I don't have to worry about like, oh, you know, I can walk down the street and somebody goes, "Oh, it's you." Not that I want to make crazy takes, just, I just would like I mean, later down the line, I probably wouldn't care if I made it not anonymous anymore. Just now, right now, I mean, I like being a little VTuber guy. I feel like it's pretty cool being a little slime. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about them. I just the pause. I don't know though. I've seen like quite a bit of dude. They all like low key. Y'all remember Iron Mouse? I'm not gonna say she fell off, like, cause she still pulls views, but like she's not like she was the most followed at one point, right? That was a year ago already, dude. Oh my god, Cry for Me was a year ago. Holy shit, bro! It's been a year, man. It's been a year for it to fly by. But yeah, like Iron Mouse, look, like when you look through it, her views, they're they're not terrible by any means. By any means. It's just not what they used to be, man. Or was she ever big on was she ever big really on YouTube like that? No, I mean down here she was only like she was still getting like half a mil views and stuff. But is so how is she on Twitch? I haven't checked. Dude, does she even stream? Probably last year. Oh, she still stream? Okay, okay, dude. Yeah, she still pulls. I'm just talking out my asshole.
Come from? Well, this was a wonderful, beautiful model
How
constructed
many
by
did
Nari,
I wish I could see how many live viewers she had.
which I'm very, very thankful for.
Why? Why would you make me do this? Okay.
Sorry on a little tangent. I was just yeah, okay, so her YouTube doesn't seem to be like
Tomorrow,
crazy, but
don't worry. Tickets are available for pay-per-view viewing, and you can watch
okay,
online.
she
So
still has a
get your
pretty
tickets now
fast
to watch
chat. So
Club
this
Iron
is
Mouse tomorrow. It's gonna be a
what this would be. It's all in 1 minute, dude. I'm gonna guess like 500 to 1,000. Nah, 500 would be so much lower. She probably has like a few thousand. Probably has 1,000 to 1 to 2K viewers still. She's not doing bad at all on Twitch. I mean, I guess her YouTube, she just doesn't really like do much with YouTube anymore. Dude, she started 6 years ago. That's crazy, man. That is great. Anyway, sorry guys. Okay, let's get back to the
Drama was almost brushed under the rug. In this one small bubble, the positivity overpowered the negativity, even while that negativity was happening during its peak. But as the magic of VTubing slowly disappeared, as the freshness faded and the industry expanded, that positive energy also went away.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, 2019 was a big year. 2019 to 2022, I'm gonna say. I mean, even 2023. I'm gonna say 2019 to 2024. VTubing was really big. I could see how people could get burnt out, but like at the same time, man, like people still watch people who quote unquote fell off, like falling off really isn't as bad as people make it out to seem. Like people said Sketch fell off, like he still makes money, dude. Like they still make money. Just I mean, they don't make as much, but that's life. But I mean, everyone's gonna fall off eventually. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're never gonna stay at the very top for your whole career. Like, even Kai Cenat, like, he didn't stream for 9 months. Even like back when he was like streaming a lot, like there was days where he had like 100,000, and some days where you have 50. Like, it fluctuates, you know.
honeymoon period being over left fans roiling in the negativity that remains. But a few people might not see it that way, especially the newcomers. I hear a lot of opinions about why VTubing became the way that it is, whether or not they prefer it. VTubers focused so much on the streamer aspect rather than the character part. I interpreted this as a lot of newcomers focusing too
Oh, I could see that. I heard there's a big problem with I've been hearing there's a big problem with what's it called? With people just buying models. You're just buying models and like just trying to have the coolest model. Also, hold on, I need to recalibrate my thing. I always forget to close that. It's my little YouTube studio thing. Okay. Also, let me I can move my camera down a little bit, I guess. You know, that would probably help a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I just have to move my camera around a little
much
bit.
on the business
Dude, I can't wait till I can use my phone. Holy, I'm so broke.
rather than the fun. Becoming interpreted this as a lot of newcomers focusing too much on the business rather than the fun. Becoming overall a well-oiled machine rather than an entertainer. And on the
Yeah.
other end of the spectrum, we have tweets like this from JoeCat saying that VTubing is becoming better because everyone is slowly shedding the idol culture parts of the medium.
I'm proud of VTubers slowly but surely breaking down the idol culture roots of VTubing. Showing your face, being open about having a partner, keeping this parasocialist in check, and I think it's healthier overall. Yeah. Also, I probably read that wrong. Sorry. Yes, I think that it's definitely better because okay, let me put it this way. When something's not popular anymore, what's left behind is probably better off anyway. Just for the simple fact of like you're not having people clout chasing anymore. You'll always have those people, obviously, but now you have more people who actually genuinely enjoy the craft instead of people who are just, here for a bag. Like I like VTubing. I always thought it was pretty cool. I do think some of them are pretty cringy, if not all of them, but I think that it has a bit of like flair to it. Like, like I like it. I just like it. I like the community, I feel like.
So which is it? Is VTubing becoming worse or getting better? Obviously, your answer will ultimately depend on factors like when you became interested in VTubing and entered the industry, and who your favorite creators are, and if you are a creator yourself, what kind of creator you
Yo, dude, Shibadoki, she's my favorite. Her and Kenji are my favorite VTubers. They're fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna get it. I was gonna look them up, but I don't wanna. We're only 4 minutes in.
wanna be. And as you can surmise from the title, I am leaning towards the former, especially because I am a traditional VTuber fan, who mostly watches VTubers that associate more with the JP adjacent culture rather than the English Twitch streamer culture. And from my thinking, I have created a model that encapsulates why VTubing has become the way that it is. I call it the 4Ds: difficulty, disillusionment, division, and drama. I think this is the loop that made VTubing the way that it is, and wherever you might have started falling into the piece here, I've noticed that it always happens in this order. So let me break it down. As VTubing expanded, there became more viewers, more money to harvest, but also more competition. There became less things to try and innovate on. Back then, when there were few VTubers, innovation and even unique character design elements and gimmicks were easier to do because the space was emptier. There were still lots of strats and undiscovered niches, but now, a lot of niches has been filled. Standing out has become a lot more difficult. This bred a
Oh
bit
yeah, no, dude, there's a flood. Like they open like when VTubing got popular, dude, it's like the floodgates opened. Like me starting now as a newer VTuber, it's dude, oh my god, it's so hard. Like to find my own path. I guess it's probably I would say it's probably easier for me as a guy than it would be for a woman because the majority of VTubers are women. So I feel like a lot of women might have like a harder time finding their place when everybody is like copy paste, like the same VTuber, same like and there's a niche for everything, dude. I just think it might be a little harder for them, and for guys, I mean, there's a lot of guy VTubers, but I definitely feel like it would be easier for me to find my like my niche, my personality, um type thing. But I also think like it doesn't matter if you're not the first to do it. Like just do it better. Do it better than they did.
of desperation, a sense of defensiveness or insecurity for a VTuber's own content, design, and even fans. We saw a small glimpse of this behavior from multiple big VTubers when the Cinder incident happened. When VTubing became big, it started to get more difficult to create content that could
Bro, what is the Cinder incident? Who is that? The burden of proof is on the accuser, not the accused. Whoa. I mean, yeah, they lied to you. Here's 1,000 pages of proof. Oh my, you've got to be smoking crack if you think I'm reading 1,000 pages of something. If you're not like if you're not like my day one homie, I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm not getting involved. 1,000 pages? You better paraphrase. Doing that.
incident happened. When VTubing became big, it started to get more difficult to create content that could retain your viewers while also attracting more. This might not be the case for a lot of the bigger already established creators, but it is the case for most of the creators that wanted to climb the ladder, and believe me, there was a lot. Without the support of something like Hololive, how the hell were you supposed to grow your own brand? This was when a lot of new agencies popped up, led by people with mysterious background and probably almost
I don't like that like people think you need an agency to grow. Just make good content. Just make fire videos, bro. Like lock in.
zero business experience, and they promised you a little bit of what Hololive does, but without the glam and pre-established numbers. Some VTubers join these agencies, but normally, they are short-lived because a lot of them collapse in the most miserable yet spectacular way.
Yeah, I've never heard of Lumnarva
It's
or Lumnara.
a miracle if they just died peacefully and, without
Never heard of Voller.
drama. Whether these incidents happened because the CEO was a sex pest, or the genmates were schizophrenic that it ruins the company from the inside, or, maybe just the simple but innocent CEO is not that good at business. Lots
Yeah,
of
that'll
things
do
could
it.
go wrong behind the scenes, and it could genuinely affect how some of these VTubers see the industry. But let's say you're just an indie that didn't need an agency but needed a bit of help. Perhaps the aid of a third-party company or solo managers was the way to
I feel like I've heard of Studio Cell before.
go. But then turns out you end up being scammed or being sex pested.
Damn.
Seems to be a common occurrence here for some reason. But when agencies and companies weren't enough, some people started to do interesting things. Without the support of an agency, the strat for a lot of VTubers was to be active on Twitter and engage with fans and nerd stuff before debuting themselves.
Whoa. Okay. I'm not scrolling back up. Y'all saw it. That shit needs to stop, bro. Oh my god. I hate that about this community. I will say that. All of these like little girl models, bro, and you're drawing them half naked. Get a fucking job, okay? Or oh, here's a thought. Just make it 20 years older. Jesus.
At first, this was a success, with one of the more notable examples being Artemis of the Blue.
See, that's fine, man. Like that looks it still looks pretty young, okay? I mean, but it's an anime character, okay? But it doesn't need to look borderline child to be good, okay? It's fucking, I swear, dude. I don't know why people are like that, man. It needs to look 5 years old for people to watch me. Yo, if that's what you want to be separated as in the community, go for it, man. Let's see how far it takes you. And I mean, okay, not even that. If you're going to make a character that looks more childish, put as many clothes on it as you can. It's not recommended, but clothe it more than anything.
But then some of these people started bitching and whining
Seeing VTubers are joining this month overtake your 6 months of effort in 1 week. I mean, I support people, but this kind of makes me want to cry, especially if the design is like absolutely bland. I guess I will have to start jumping trends, which I hate. I can. This feels a little. I can understand the frustration with that. It's just gonna happen though. I mean, a lot of streaming and content creation is partly luck, man. I mean, let's just be honest.
about the lack of success instead of, actually streaming and putting effort and researching what they want to do. These permanent debut TBA creators would be
But don't worry, you're not drawing for free. I'm gonna pay you back with likes from my followers. You either pay me with money or I'm not drawing for you. It's as simple as that. Girl, you're a small artist. Who the fuck would pay you for your art with money? Damn. You could have just said, "Oh, sorry, I don't really have any money. I'm broke." You could have said that in simpler words.
called V-tweeters. And I mention them because a lot of the negativity and drama that happens in the industry
Oh, of
is on
course.
Twitter and is caused by V-tweeters.
If you think I'm gonna waste any of my time drawing your ugly ass bagel face after you insulted my art like this, then you're being delusional. Fine, small artists are all the same. There's a reason why you don't have much followers. I'm a VTuber, and you'll regret this. Burn her. Fucking ew. Oh my god. Yo. If you actually say some cringe shit like this, bro, go look in the mirror. And contemplate. Just contemplate what you just said. That's the biggest loser shit I've ever heard.
And tweets in general, regardless if they were
I will be terminating my VTubing activities effective today. 6/22/26. Oh, so very okay. I've had health complications. I'm running out of money, and I don't see the point of in VTubing anymore. If nobody's gonna help me financially, thank you for staying with me till the end. If nobody's gonna help me financially, bro, I'm sorry you have health complications, but it's not like the people's responsibility to pay you.
tweeters or not. But some of them actually started grinding, and some would even implement a few less than ethical tactics. At first,
Yo, keep this video PG, man. Don't be showing
it
no
was
weird
relatively
shit.
subtle, like copying design elements, sometimes intentionally to leech off of one of
Ooh. What, the necklace and stuff? Okay, that ear thing, I could see that. And the arm, I don't agree with the skirt though. Like, cuz it's just a skirt, you know what I mean? But I mean, I can see in like shoe and like the thigh high thing. I could see the other three. Or well, I guess there's four. Like the legs thing, I don't. Okay, I will say those pretty similar. Okay, these yes. Okay, I can see how they would. These, yes, I can see these. I can see these. This is just a skirt. Okay, I don't really. The bow, actually, yes. Okay, that's a little weird too. Yeah, this shit is stealing. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
the popular ones, sometimes unintentionally, not to leech, but because they found it to be a cool design gimmick or because they looked up to the VTuber, or sometimes two different minds just come up with the same design or gimmick at the same time. But then it started to escalate. People started aggressively collabing with other VTubers, not to foster friendships, but to borrow their platform or organize their own network, having their fingers
I hate that. I hate that. Like, just collabing, like, I mean, okay, yes, that's what collabing is, to help, like, grow, right? But don't be a leech, okay? Don't collab with somebody you genuinely aren't gonna fuck with. Like, the viewers can tell when you don't have chemistry, okay? You know, not to say, okay, if you don't have chemistry, it's still fine to stream together. Just don't go into the stream going, okay, I'm gonna leech off this motherfucker, and I'm not gonna become friends with them.
on a bit of everyone's pie. They would pretend to be fans or supportive, slowly worming their way to that creator's circle, pestering them, not really even considering them as friends, but more so jumping pads just so they can leech off of them a little bit. An entire discussion even appeared on Twitter about this, on whether or not collabing should purely be a business decision or something you should be able to do with just your friends. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it does speak to the intentions of many VTubers and how they appear on stream. Because to a fan, how do we tell who are real friends versus who are just collabing to social climb?
I'm gonna tell you something right now, okay? About the streaming world. Half these motherfuckers are not real friends, okay? Half of them are not real friends. I will say the bonds between VTubers, like I've seen, like Chibidoki and like a few of her friends, that seems like real friendship, okay? That seems like real friendship. But a lot of these other YouTubers, man, they don't give a fuck. I mean, or not YouTubers, but streamers, I mean. Like, a lot of them genuinely are just collabing for more money. Yeah.
And rub shoulders with bigger content creators. It got to a point that even big creators
I don't know if I'm just old school, but what's up with the VTubing space being so open about being leeches and only looking at other streamers as connections and literally a stepping stool for growth? Back in the day, y'all would have gotten shunned for that behavior. Yeah, like I have a Discord server with like a few of, like, there are a bunch of VTubers, like we're all small creators and we're gonna like be collabing with each other and stuff. Just because I think it'd be pretty cool. Also, we're taking forever to get through this video, so we're probably not gonna watch the body cam video. We'll probably just skip that. Just FYI. I'm gonna try to. There's a lot to talk about. Okay, I'm sorry.
started complaining about how used they feel when they became victims of this. But VTuber wannabes weren't the only parasites, there were also Twitch e-girls. Even e-girls and Twitch streamers were using the VTuber tag on Twitch at one point to capitalize off
That's crazy.
of the rising trend, which gave way for a lot of these e-girls to try their hand on the medium, without really even understanding, appreciating, or participating in the culture. But if that
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. If you want to be a VTuber that bad, and you're gonna sit here and like, "Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the money." Yo, put in the time, man. Put in the time to make one. I know you could be like, you're not an artist, whatever. That's fine. I'm gonna tell you, go watch. Like, if you want to see the video, I will just like text on my TikTok, anything. I swear, comments, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just ask. I will give you the video, and you can make your own.
wasn't enough, they'd repost memes, copy paste and recycle engagement bait strats. And look, I respect it. I like reading through some of these trends and engagement baits myself, but some of them can get a little too weird for comfort. It could be vague posting about something, it could be a rage bait, it could be sympathy bait, or even virtue signaling. Sometimes they'd even join trends that are usually a guaranteed attention magnet like art raffles or more notoriously, VTuber versus IRL, who started off innocent enough and still in line with the medium, but then they started to integrate actual flesh posting. And the moment this happened, it became a bit of a slippery slope. Because then a lot of indie VTubers started to not just stop on the VTuber versus IRL trend, but started to integrate their bodies and faces as part of their regular content. And I'm not talking about the occasional hand cam or walking streams, I'm talking about IRL. I say this mostly as observation than judgment, but there's a lot of VTubers whose regular content, whether that's
Yo, he's making me nervous. Okay, I'm trying not to get banned on Twitch or any of the platforms, man. Be careful with what you talk about, okay? I don't. He keeps borderline showing things, and I'm getting a little nervous.
on their streams or on their tweets aren't really even of their characters anymore, but rather their bodies, and it eventually falls into a pipeline of doing OnlyFans or fanslay content that don't even use their VTuber models' porn like what many authentic lewd VTubers do. And look, I know there's a lot of weird hate against fanslay using VTubers now, and if the VTuber uses their actual VTuber models or just art of themselves, I think that's fair game. The occasional flesh posting to me is okay, especially cosplay related ones, even if it's not safe for work.
Okay, yeah. Cosplay's fine. I mean, I don't think there's an like if you want to do that kind of content where like you VTube and show your body on like Twitter and stuff. Yeah, that's your prerogative, man. I mean, you won't affect me at all. You do you. But I think cosplay's like, that's good too. I would support that. I think I love cosplay, man. It's so cool. Like how creative people get to look like those characters. I love it.
If you've been upfront about your content, and especially if that was the natural pipeline for your career, like if you were a porn VA, for example, or a VR chat streamer. But I think if your regular content and
oh my god, VR chat.
Your NSFW is just your IRL, especially with your face attached.
Yo, you want to meet some people? Go to VR chat. You want to meet some characters? Yo, go to VR chat, man.
And you market yourself as a VTuber, I would be inclined to think that in large part you're not really a VTuber. Of course, there are exceptions, especially when you're categorized as a live streamer who happens to have a VTuber model like Onigiri and Kayson, but it's hard not to think that way. And the thing is, this trend is not exclusive to Western VTubing, as much as a lot of the whining traditional fans like to believe.
Doesn't Jaden Animations also do VTubing? I think she leaned more into streaming, didn't she? Let's see. Does she do? Yeah, she does VTubing, right? Yeah. Oh, this is 3 years ago. It's not a recent thing, is it?
Don't go that way.
Do you think she made her own VTubing model? I don't know. Does she not stream anymore? What was her last clip? Schedule? She doesn't have one. I mean, this could just mean she hasn't streamed in the past, like, month. She could have streamed last month.
Many indie JP VTubers actually exploit this as well. If you use the godforsaken site known as
Yo, I be getting intimidated, bro. Like like when I see people speaking in different language, I'm like, bro, they're gonna think I'm a poser because I'm an American VTuber.
Twitter.
Whoa, I didn't even see that.
A lot of VTubers bouncing their tits and showing their full naked bodies, and
okay, I'm glad we're not. Oh, whoa.
But
God. Glad we're not sugarcoating anything. They're depressed. I'm not gonna disrespect you by mispronouncing that.
But perhaps on a VTuber's last attempt to find viewers, some take on one of the bigger gambles, breaking what used to be a big taboo in VTubing.
Whoa.
Political commentary.
Ooh.
You see, traditionally,
rough. That's rough.
VTubing was supposed to be non-political. Like, there was nothing about anime e-girls that was supposed to reflect real world current happenings. It was supposed to be a place for escapism. You don't fucking preach about BLM and fuck ICE whenever you're live or you're tweeting, but you also don't...
Okay. I will say, look, it is your stream. It's your community. You can say whatever you want, okay? But keep in mind, your viewers are if you're a VTuber, your viewers are probably not there to hear you talk about politics. Now, then again, if they truly enjoy your personality and stuff, I think a lot of them probably wouldn't care if you're talking about broad things like, like especially with BLM and ICE and stuff, like especially when we're talking about things like that. I think you can talk about it, like, have your opinion, but if you lose a few followers, just it's probably why. I think it's just a safer option not to, just because it puts you in a smaller box. You know what I mean? Now you're like, ah, like every time somebody looks at you, they're gonna be like, oh, they be talking about politics up in there. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to put myself in any boxes. You know what I mean?
preach about the fucking loss of Christian values or pearl clutch about sex work.
Ooh,
But as it is
ooh.
when niche nerdy things become mainstream, political people come in from all walks and backgrounds.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, who wants to sit down and talk about politics all day, man? I'm not a fucking politician. I want to sit down and have fun. Like, I mean, damn.
It's always been a thing on Twitter, but they were
Don't close your eyes to what's happening. Please don't ignore this and say the VTuber community should stay off politics, that they should just stay happy and pretend nothing. What? Please keep up with the news and stay safe, everyone. Okay.
largely ignored up until the big 2023, when Pikami and Silvervale were harassed by Twitter slacktivists because they dared to play the wizard game. But then other communities started to form, and then other communities that were formed to counter them. It subtly started with people like Kershaw. Pipa also got roped into it. Bro doesn't want any of this bullshit in the industry and was never really part of the entire culture war. However, the identity politics crowd deemed her to be right-leaning because she hates that this poison was infested.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna read all of it, I'll pick one. To be honest, this is kind of upsetting. I really love your content and you as a streamer in general, but it feels a bit like a stab in the back to all your trans viewers. I really hope you were simply oblivious to the drama surrounding this and you didn't choose to do this knowing everything. Yeah, what are
the
they
industry,
talking about?
and because Face Connect was, loved by 4chan. On the other
Ooh,
side of the aisle, there were
4chan.
also multiple people making
I'm not gonna lie, there's like a tier list to me of like bottom tier websites. Dude, the it's gotta be like descending down, like top three being the worst. Nah, one would be the worst. So three would have to be, I feel like Reddit. Okay, Reddit. Two is X. One, 4chan. Oh my god. Reddit is like they're just like not nerds, but like they're just low key just losers on there who just have nothing better to do. But there are some pretty chill people in there, I will say.
their declarations, like Uki Violetta of Nijisanji EN's blatant hate for white people, and Finana's Educate Yourself incident, claiming that the Japanese term trap was transphobic. This happened in 2022, but whatever. A lot of these politically charged incidents slowly but surely gave rise to a new breed of political figures. Now, we have seemingly right-leaning figures like Powder and Leaflet, while on the other we have Nyara and, Anna Valens, question mark? Sorry, I could not think of any left-leaning politically charged VTuber. Valens,
Biggest
question
I
mark?
was not listening to what he was saying, not gonna lie. Whenever I see this for like an X or like a Twitter account, I'm like, dude. Oh, ASMR. Okay. Okay. Oof. Okay. It was like a flashbang to me, dude. Yeah, whenever I see this, I'm like, okay, this could go either one of two ways. Either they just don't want kids in here, or they're posting some crazy ass shit.
Sorry, I could not think of any left-leaning politically charged VTubers that had like a bigger platform. There's also more on Twitter, by the way. We now have lots.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody explain the left and right to me, like I'm not. I just can't wrap my head around politics, dude. That's why I just don't really talk about it. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody like I saw a whole video explaining what the differences between left, right, up, down, fucking sideways, north, west. I don't care. Like I could. I didn't. I forgot. Like literally an hour later.
Lots of political commentators in VTubing who mostly just tweets about it and occasionally does a little bit of streaming or who doesn't stream at all. I'd explain more of the history about how this happened, but that's worth an entire video. Y'all are gonna have to settle on a super reductive, oversimplified version. All of this combined
take that
had
version.
VTubing develop its own battleground of political ideologies. Now more than ever, talking about politics is a risky yet effective way to grow your numbers, regardless of right or left. If you
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it's not worth it. It's
or a
not.
traditional VTuber fan, it's like a landfill was forming right outside your gated village. If you go outside the gate, you can definitely fucking smell it. It's gotten to a point that even it has attracted the attention of traditional fans who normally wouldn't participate in these kind of discussions. But in lieu of the happening being outside, some feel compelled to say their piece, especially Niji-Sanji fans, because some members there are more politically driven than others. Though perhaps it was always inevitable that politics was going to invade VTubing. So hey, you know, if you need a quick number or follower boost, say one of the two things. The N-word hard R and preach about Christianity or something, or that white people need to be cold and fuck the patriarchy, or something.
Okay.
But Nusagi, I hear you ask, what if I'm not North American and these politics don't apply to me? Tough luck. Pretend to be a Westoid, I guess. Or maybe be racist
Yo, I've never heard that before. Westoid?
towards Koreans and the Chinese instead. That usually works sometimes. All these strategies, from copying design elements, copying and participating in rampant engagement, sympathy, and rage bait, the leeching, the trend joining, the drama farming, we'll get into that later, and the political grifting, all scream one point. Everyone wants.
Yeah, I'm not, some words like grifting, I don't know, dude. It's like, I just can't wrap my head around it. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck, man. I can't wrap my head around it.
Attention. That everyone, and I mean everyone, is competing hard for the limited attention and eyes VTubing has. VTubing ultimately has a cap on the numbers of viewers. The biggest VTuber that we have that is yet to be surpassed was Gargura at 4 million subscribers.
Oh yeah, Gargura. Iron Mouse? Okay. Gargura is probably like, do they still get? Hold on. Gargura.
The drama farming will get.
Oh, I did not. Okay, don't. Oh, did they just fucking disappear off the internet? Dude, they lost followers, look. Do they still stream? Yo. What happened? Officially graduated from Hollow Live on May 1st. Damn, that was a long time ago. It's crazy.
That is like less than 10 times smaller than the regular community, and it's one that hasn't really moved significantly since 2020. So everyone is a bit desperate. Everyone is struggling to keep their career sustainable.
Yeah, I'm really like curious if VTubing will like ever get to that level. You know what I mean?
And is often willing to do anything to reach the top or maintain their status quo, even if it means betraying, even if it means LARPing, even if it means sacrificing your mental health. And because everyone is having a difficult time, it leads to the next D in our pipeline, disillusionment.
That was only one. Oh my god.
For the VTuber side, after the usual agency experience of being abused or sex-pested or even bullied by your own genmates, it might be a little hard to trust people again. But what is even harder is if the people you used to work with, like your genmates, started to actually be successful and climb the ladder. You know some of these people. They are not good people. How the fuck are they being rewarded? Another case,
Ooh.
what if the acquaintance or friend that you've trusted so much that
I like that model. It's a pretty cool model.
you've exposed your heart to ends up betraying you after 1 or 2 disagreements? Hell,
Damn.
another would be if a third-party company that you hired to deal with your shit ended up scamming you. Maybe the fans you've lovingly cultivated decides to abandon
What did I just see up there? What the fuck? These people's chats are so unreal, dude.
you after you're no longer the shiniest girl in the block. Or worse, if you do GFE, turn into an auntie after they just try to dox you and discover that you had a partner, or if you did something that they did not like. What does any of this mean for a girl? Disillusionment. The magic is gone. You see the
Hey, there's dudes here too. Don't forget about us.
industry for what it truly is behind the scenes. Different
Yo, what is the biggest dude VTuber? There's okay. I wonder if he's an English
cabals
VTuber.
scheming, conniving, and backstabbing their way to the top. A bunch of immature, high school-minded, and emotionally, intellectually stunted people who would dump an expose on your ass for a mistake that could have been talked out in private.
God damn. Yo, he's going in.
A bunch of predatory and exploitative individuals trying to siphon as much money and clout as they can from anyone they can snake out of. This medium that
Yo, back up, bro. They're down. They're down.
used to inspire so much creative spark in you has begun to develop a negative association, a feeling that looms so heavy it makes you want to give up on this industry. And that is a very, very sad thing. And if you are a fan or an audience member, it's a bit simpler. The collapse of multiple agencies you might have been a fan of, the exposés and many mistakes of the creator
I've not been a fan of any agency, I'm not gonna lie. I just recently got here, dude. I don't know what's going on. Yo, it's like learning all of the FNAF lore like today. Like it's like, whoa, there's a lot of lore I missed out on.
you've loved, the vague posting, the frequent drama that they get themselves embroiled in
this
or
person
started,
again.
the side comments, the questionable decisions
I was too busy in Japan to see what happened in Twitter. What I meant by NSFW, since a lot of people are confused, I'm okay with lewd, never have not been okay with it. I just don't like seeing people fuck. To me, being a bitch, that's nothing new, and I've never been nice to people I don't care about / respect. Y'all are so bored that someone that just doesn't like porn made you personally get riled up. Okay. I just genuinely can't really care if you don't want to respect it or even try to see what I meant. I see no reason to even be respectful remotely to some losers. I'd be lying if I said I was sorry. Holy cherry on top. I didn't even see that at first. Fucking deuces.
all piled on top of each other. It plants a seed of doubt in your head.
I wish
That
he read
seed
some of
eventually
these.
grows. You just stop liking people. You just stop trusting VTubers. Stop trusting VTuber agencies. That once source of boundless joyful energy from your favorite streamer group could get spoiled by one bad Google Docie. Suddenly, you question if your Oshis are the people you thought they were. You notice how fake a lot of things seem. It is reminiscent of celebrity culture before the internet was a thing. People loved actors. People really only hated certain celebrities for superficial reasons like, Justin Bieber gay or his music bad. But when the internet became a thing, they started yapping, and the more they opened their mouth, they revealed how dumb, malicious,
You're afraid of VTubers? Yo, I mean, I can understand that. Yeah. Yo, I'm intimidated, dude. I'm intimidated. I will say that. There's like a lot of actually like really good female VTubers. Dude, it's intimidating, man. Especially as a guy VTuber. Like I support it though. I support it. I support all the female VTubers.
or profoundly unlikable they are. In but half a generation, their carefully crafted PR and identities got broken down online because they cannot shut the fuck up. Such a thing is
Oh my god, yeah, like they just talk all the fucking time.
happening in VTubing. Even VTubers that used to be uncritiquable now have critics because of the things they do or say, and sometimes it's even because of things they don't do or say. Figures like Bao, Amalie, Ironmouse, Shylily, and even fucking Iago. Iago! While they are still beloved in the mainstream,
Who's he? Who is that?
doubts about their character had been planted already, and these doubts
What's wrong with Iron Mouse? What'd she do? I thought people just didn't like her because of her music.
are no longer just living in 4chan boards and circles. They're a bit more widespread now, just waiting for their next drama so they can jump like an alligator. And whether you agree or disagree with the criticisms around them, it's clear that the tides are shifting against the medium as a whole. And I think this is just a symptom of the greater point, that people are noticing. And when people notice, they do one of two things: step back or double down. Those that aren't unemployed or do actually touch grass prefer to step back. But because these are VTuber fans that are dedicated and parasocial to their favorites, and because these are VTubers that need their platforms to be alive, most industry members opt to actually double down. Thus, the next D happens.
Oof, never double down.
Division. Every VTuber wants to grow, no matter fucking what. Everyone wants the industry to improve and expand, but everyone sees how to do it differently. Old school traditional VTubers and fans prefer to keep it as it is when they joined, character-driven, dismissive of drama, a space truly and purely for weebs and losers, light-hearted. Usually, these are your Hololive and small agency fans, and VTuber fans who's been around since 2020 or 2021. Anyone that's adjacent to the JP side of the industry, really. But newer fans want to see it change. Bereft of idol culture, no parasocialism, able to show your faces, sanitized. These people came from the Twitch and Western streamer culture. So these two types of fans see certain acts or cultural aspects differently. For a few examples, traditional fans hate the trend hopping and engagement bait and the VTuber versus IRL because it's not something that VTubers of their era would do. It muddies how a VTuber could be counted and what a VTuber even means. Whereas newer fans absolutely enjoy it or don't mind. Newer fans hate a lot of the JP-sourced cultures of VTubing such as lolly, idol culture, and even the character bits, whereas traditional fans are absolutely okay with these and even love parts of it. Traditional fans wants to keep real-world affairs and politics out of their anime girls and values professionalism and orderliness, whereas newer fans tend to value the lawlessness and wants to have current affairs follow them into their brand a lot of the time. This is VTubing's very specific brand of politics, and you might even notice that it has a very interesting reflection onto actual real-world politics. My perspective is that old fans were taken in by VTubing's very niche appeal. VTubing had its set culture, similar to any community. Its target demographic were originally people like me, weebs, nerds, and losers. But when VTubing got popular, many opportunistic e-girls as well as predatory businessmen saw a golden opportunity. And when the large influx of these people came, they chose to dismiss many of its cultural aspects and turned it into an aesthetic choice, or a brand new buzzword that they can pitch to investors or something. Some of the new people coming in aren't really even weebs. They're tourists that just saw what looks to be the cool new fresh hip thing, or just wanted to have the feeling of identifying with something. I always mourn the death of a culture that were made by nerds and losers, because when said cultures became mainstream, a lot of what makes it soulful gets removed for something more normal. The current development of VTubing is just one of the mainstream's many victims, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's not like I liked all parts of the traditional culture too. For example, while I don't mind GFE or parasocial relationships and I even think it gets overly demonized, I also think that it's weird some traditional fans hate it when their Oshis talk to the opposite sex like a Holostar or Nijisanji member, that some people engage too deeply with it or have deluded themselves into thinking that these VTubers, these girls, are actually single. The tribalistic parts of idol culture is something I don't like. I don't like how certain bad situations are often downplayed because they don't like the negative air of drama, and they perpetuate this forced air of sanitation. And in relation to that, I don't like how hugboxy it feels most of the time. Some of these people actually worship the multi-million-dollar agency and treat these adult women like they're toddlers. Criticism, even constructive, is not welcome. At the same time, something that I agree with the newer fans is self-expression. Being able to talk about problems in the industry is a good thing. Being able to do more with the concept of piloting a virtual character is cool, to a certain extent. For example, I think lewd tubing is fine, but even saying that is going to give me fierce pushback from traditional fans, and at the same time, it isn't enough to count me in as welcome in the newer fans' tribe. But why I am talking about this isn't to broadcast my opinion, it's to explain that my situation is only one of many, and it's a consequence of this big divide. Nuances are thrown out of the window to favor agendas and broader, more extreme narratives. You, as a fan or a VTuber, are categorized based off of vibes, based off of the VTubers that you watch, and you are supposed to help the collective push the agenda even if there are things you disagree with on your own tribe. I remember back in the day, there used to be cross-pollination between cultures. Hollow and Twitch VTuber fans, for example, were like curious and generally welcoming citizens that wanted to meet with each other and see the sides of their nations. It used to be a big deal, and an entire event even, when a Hololive member would collab with a VShojo member or an Nijisanji EN member. For example, do we all remember the Romeo and Juliet memes of Kiara and Pomu? But again, as time passed on, the differences grew too big. Incidents such as the big Nijisanji EN Discord leak, the VShojo Nuxtaku situation, Salengate, the Wizard Game incident, and other politically laced
I will say, I think the internet's fast to just cancel you for whatever. But I also think you should be able to do whatever you want. Like the traditional people for this space, they can have their own views on what they want it to be, but they can't go into somebody else's stream and tell them how they should run theirs.
drama created a sense of animosity between each other. And yes, there are still traditional fans that like new VTubers and new VTuber fans that like traditional VTubers, but we rarely see cross-cultural pollination happen anymore. And I think that's a sad thing. Of course, between the traditional and new fans, they have their own sub-factions, right? Incidents like the Cinderdoki drew circles in the indie sphere, how that fandom doesn't even know if they should like Filian or not. The Holostars Axin and Sameko Sabadrot also tore divide in the traditional group. Both are not as unified as you might think. I could draw a map of these groups of people, as well as their factions, but that would require me to go full autist mode and speculate like a motherfucker. Maybe I'll do that in another video or something. As a whole, these frequent clashes, these attempts to gain popularity, the disillusioned people who see the industry for what it is, culminate in the last D: drama. Aside from political grifting, engagement baiting, copycatting, virtue signaling, aesthetic stealing, and goonerism, there is also drama farming. Now obviously, I'm part of this problem. I've been making videos about VTubing since late 2021, and I originally didn't start covering drama a lot. I was broadly focused towards commentary and recalling events, but during the big 2024, I pivoted somewhat. And now I stream at least once a week talking about the drama that happens in the industry, and I upload highlights and clips onto my second channel. I have a passion for autistically talking about issues, events, and wider topics about VTubing as a culture and medium. That's what my main channel is for. But me doing drama was a natural step in the pipeline. And the thing is, it's successful. In fact, it is so fucking successful that sometimes even my highlights channel actually beats my main channel in terms of monthly viewership. But the thing is, I'm not the only one that did this, especially in 2024 and 2025. In fact, I would like to think I'm one of the slower ones. Kyo and False ID are gone, and some of the drama-hating parts of the industry celebrated that, but the thing is, they left a massive gap in the market. People that were worse or better were eventually going to replace them, and that gap, that demand, was filled in by creators like Kazahana and Lydia, fucking even Katliente to a certain extent. And that's only on the YouTube side of things. The drama coverage and discussion on the Twitter side is inarguably 100 times worse. On Twitter, it's not just drama and news tubers that talks about news and drama, it's fucking everyone. Everyone has something to say.
Yeah, everyone has to have an opinion now.
About current event. So in VTubing, whenever something bad happens and if you're on the goddamn site, you're going to know or hear about it one way or another. And the sheer number of people drama.
Well, and it's also the viewers too. They're spamming people's chats. Talk about this, talk about this. Like, they want to hear their favorite streamer or content creator just talk about all of the issues going on.
Peddling makes the negative air around the industry thicker, so much so that 1 week without major drama is actually a godsend. VTuber fans can actually breathe for a bit, and I actually get to watch some streams. Blocking people like me isn't really even enough to stop drama from appearing in your timeline at this point. Again, you will hear about
Yeah, you're gonna
drama
hear
one
about
way
it.
or another. Your timeline might even get full of it, and it's only a matter of time and topic that you will eventually participate in it as well. The main point of this particular D, the core of it, is that negativity sells. Agenda posting, publicly throwing shade at people you don't like but did nothing to you, creating Google Docies for the most nothing burger issues, ignoring healthy communication with your peers so you can make a big stink about it, virtue signaling.
People just want something to stress over. So, any drama, they'll just eat it out the palm of your hand.
And vague posting about the bad thing are all meta strats employed by VTubers big and small, even the ones that you know. Whether you want to admit it or not, a lot of VTubers start drama or exactly know what they're doing by saying or doing something inflammatory, whether for attention or for their own unspoken agenda. All of this compounds. Because people are having a difficult time gaining attention, there's going to be drama. Because people are disillusioned, there's going to be drama. Because people are divided, there is going to be drama. When the industry is filled and dominated by high
There's drama in every niche, everywhere. And people love it.
school-minded people, this becomes a toxic and deliberate self-sustaining cycle. I think these are the main reasons why VTubing has become so negative. I'm sure you have something to say that I might have missed, but I think whatever you can think of will roughly fit into one of the 4 Ds. Again, admittingly, I am part of this cycle, but I guarantee you 99% of the creators and fans in this space are all part of the cycle too. Many of the VTubers you like might have also politically grifted or currently is, might have also done bad engagement bait or sympathy or rage baits up till now, might have virtue signaled and still do, might have grandstanded and still do, might have started or peddled drama and still do. We just need to be a bit honest with ourselves. Everyone has sort of a hand in setting precedents that made the industry a tiny bit worse. Worse in this case is subjective, but the discussion of it still breeds that same air of conflict, of negativity. And I think that's why we can't go back to the way it used to be. We were just so optimistic and captured by the
I don't know. I think it can be better. I don't think it's dead.
magical nature of VTubing. Now we don't have that figurative anesthesia anymore. However, even if that's the case, there is still a way to engage in VTubing that might preserve a little bit of that magic if it's still on your person. And it's to uninstall Twitter. No, seriously, just, yeah, uninstall Twitter. 99% of the drama comes from Twitter, okay? Or heck, a less effective yet sort of valid way is to block people. You don't want to hear about drama? Block it. You don't like certain VTubers? Block them and their fans. Yeah. To a certain extent, the happiest remaining VTuber fans are the ones that are ignorant of the bullshit that is going on in Twitter and usually just stick to their own circles. Clip watchers who only watch the occasional VTuber clips or don't give too much of a fuck to delve deep into threads. Casuals who engage with a little bit of everyone. Stream watchers that focus their energy entirely on the VTuber and their group streams and only engage with the peers and community instead of everything else. Unironically, the one effective way that I've noticed the happier parts of the industry do is just to ignore everything else. No engaging with it, just ignoring it. Try doing that in 2026. Focusing all your energy into having fun instead of anything else was unironically the source of positivity in 2020. The rest of the world was negative, especially with the pandemic, but VTubers allowed an outlet to be able to have fun by ignoring the world for a bit. In a sense, just do the same thing that we've all done before, albeit more deliberate this time. Despite the flawed nature of VTubing and its people, I still call it my home. There's a reason I keep coming back to it even after my 10th graduation / hiatus. It's a fucked up place, but there's life here. It's still beautiful. There are still sights to behold, people to meet, subcultures and communities to explore, and 2D girls to simp for, obviously. So
That was a great video. What's up?